What up, y'all, and welcome back to Pensacola International Speedway, this time for the 19th race in the 2023 NRSL Digital Storm Cup Series. We got 2 races left in the season, 11 drivers coming into this thing, still with a mathematical chance at the championship, 4 of them within 1 race range. The other 7 gonna need a lot of help today if they want to fight for a championship next weekend at Atlanta. Let's go to your starting lineup here. Jessica Shelton is on pole for the first time in 2023. It's her 4th career Cup Series pole overall, and it makes her the 20th different driver in Cup Series history to earn 4 or more pole awards. To her outside is a fellow female driver in Priya McShane, with Keith Rich and Colin Cropley in row 2. Dylan Young, Dennis Moore sit in row number 3. Laura Chung, William Brock, row 4. And rounding out the top 10, you got Corey Raymond and Henry Sanford. Points leader Samantha Ozkan qualified 16th place. Outside line, not where you want to be at the start of these things, so he's going to want to fall all the way to the back as quick as possible to get to the inside line. Same can be said for Kev Shearer, who comes in 4th in the points, 50 points back. As you see, Zoerlein 8 points back on the inside line, with Nate Rogers 24 points back all the way at the back of the field on the outside line. It's been quite the interesting second half of the year. Winners have been Ferranti, Rob Evans, Fitzwater, Logan York, Trey Smith, Colt Hudson, Enzo Noreza, and Zach Flickinger. Past winners here in the Cup Series include James Qualls in 2017, Seth Cole in 2018, both of those Chevy wins. 2019, we had 2 races here. First one went to Kev Shearer, who was driving a BMW at the time. Second one went to Patrick Sick, who drove a Toyota. 2020 saw James Shelley take the checkered flag for Chevrolet. 2021, Carabel got Red Bull a win here for Toyota. And last year, Keith Rich got the win here for Dodge. You might notice the graphics on the screen look a little different from previous races. I've had to turn shadows off. I've had to turn reflections off. This is attempt number 3, trying to record this thing, trying to get a clip that is more than half a lap. As for the first time in recent memory, this track is not playing nice with my computer or with my version of NR. I don't know. NR, guys, for those of you out there that have the game, you know, NR is weird. For some people, high frame demanding tracks such as this, but they work fine all the time, every time, with no issues. For me recently, I've found that some of these tracks, they used to work great for me when I had a laptop. Now I have a desktop, and now they don't want to work. So it's backwards. Anyway, I'm going to change the camera, hoping that we can make it down the back straightaway with this camera, because can't make it down the front straightaway with spectator camera, can't make it down the back straightaway with the TV2 camera. I had just one game crash during the truck race recording, and that was it on the night track. So I don't know if it's a day track thing or what. It might be this mod, but like I said, never had any issues. But anyway, we're gonna try and put that to the back of the mind. If you see abrupt cuts, it's probably for a game crash. So anyway, Jessica Shelton will lead him to the green flag. Pace car will dive off. 50 laps of action here today. Who's going to take home the checkered flag, and how will it impact the championship as the green is out and we're underway? Dylan Young looking to make the first move. Instead, it'll be Laura Chung, as the first 2 rows remain side by side. McShane with a bit of a better start than Shelton, as Keith Rich now, the momentum shifting to the inside line as they get up to speed. These cars going upwards of 230 miles an hour here this afternoon once they reach that top speed. Here's the angle. Okay, we are good this time. I also restarted my computer. That helps. So it's going to take about a lap or so for them to get up to speed, but then you will see At the back of this pack, they will go about 220, 225, 230 miles an hour. So it's a three-wide battle for the lead between female drivers McShane, Shelton, and Chung. Alexander Rowe, the lone male on the inside line, not been a good time lately for Rowe. He's been missing a ton of races this year. Comes into this race 45th in the points. This is just the 10th race he's made all season. So a real fall from grace here for Alexander Rowe, our 2022 Daytona 500 winner, I want to say. If I got my years correct. Yep, 2022. So Rowe takes the race lead. He's got Archibald Buttersworth right behind, Quinton Moore, RJ Bishop. So Ford coming to the front of the field here in the early going. You see Skylar Taylor in the 84. That's the car that won this race 2 years ago with Cara Bell. As Zoerlein already up to the front of the field, running that inside line. Quinton Moore now going to make a move on Rowe. Bishop was looking to make one of his own, but Zoerlein gets to his inside first. Zoerlein bringing fellow Chevy driver Ricky Freeman Jr. to the front with him. Behind these two on the inside line, you got Logan York, Alex Ferranti, Charles Sanford, and Rob Evans. As other drivers that come into this race looking to be in title contention next week but need to get within range, Charles Sanford, Dylan Young, Fitzwater, Zach Flickinger, fresh off the Homestead win. Rob Evans, Ace Rogers, Seth Cole. Charles Sanford, Dylan Young, 72 and 77 points back, respectively. They need a little bit of help today. They will especially need Samet Ozkan and Jonathan Zoerlein to run into problems, as Zoerlein is in a tight four wide there with teammate Alex Ferranti, as Charles will take the lead here. Fitzwater 87 back leads a little more help. Zach Flickinger is 99 back, needs a decent bit of help. Rob Evans, Ace Rogers, Seth Cole, they need a ton of help. Rob comes in 108 points back. Ace and Seth Cole both back 109, as we have had a crash. And Zach Flickinger's involved. And that takes Zach Flickinger right out of the conversation. So Flickinger unable to avoid the first crash here today. Cade Anderson involved. Colt Hudson, Logan Williams, Lane Sanders destroyed. Jesse Turner appears to have gotten some damage. Watching the back of the field here to see if there are any checkups here. Fitzwater, I think, is clean. I'm not sure if his hood has damage or if that's just the natural design. You see Kev Shearer back here in 30th, Ozkan 28th. They're all in this danger zone. But first caution of the day is out here on lap number 5. And we'll take a look at the replay. This all starts with teammates Jesse Turner and Logan Williams in the middle of a 4 wide, and this is a rare case where we see two cars go down the track instead of up, and they go right down into unsuspecting Zach Flickinger. Look at this, Samet Ozkan is right there behind, and he smartly just gasses it up to go. Lane Sanders, Cade Anderson have nowhere to go for Zach Flickinger. Kev Shearer just misses this. Colt Hudson gets clipped, and Andrew Rich gets really lucky. And then Colt Hudson starts to barrel roll. We saw that last night from Sam Young, but Hudson only does the one barrel roll. And Lane Sanders, Logan Williams, their cars were instantly KO'd. Colt Hudson likely done as well. Same for Zach Flickinger, perhaps Cade Anderson too. But a huge wreck here in the early going. Let's take a look at this in full speed, and then we'll take an onboard with Zach Flickinger. on board with last week's winner, Zach Flickinger. Vicious wreck for the 96. Nothing he could do there. And his chance at trying to fight his way into the championship are over. My game crashed. I'm finishing the clip. I don't care. We'll get y'all to the race restart. Getting ready to go back racing. Out of the race, Zach Flickinger, Lane Sanders, Logan Williams, Cade Anderson, and Colt Hudson. No surprises for those 5 drivers. Jesse Turner will continue. He restarts 37th. Jessica Shelton down to 33rd from the pole. Priya McShane in 30th. Looking at our championship contenders here, Kev Shearer 28th, Ozkan 26th. Jonathan Zoerlein in 19th place. See Ace Rogers in 17th right now. Remember, he's got to gain points to get in range. And with 5 drivers out of the race, those chances start to go down. Same can be said for Seth Cole in 13th, Dylan Young 11th. Nate Rogers is 6th, with Charles Sanford in the lead and Rob Evans in 2nd. We will have 42 laps of racing left here, and likely several more game crashes to go with it. At this point, I'm just along for the ride. If you guys see some abrupt cuts, that'll be what happened. I won't always just finish the clip out into the void. It's not fun. This track's a lot of fun, but the game crashing, yeah, not fun. Sanford with a really good restart maintains the lead. No challenge coming so far from Rob Evans or Alex Ferranti as they're going to go 3 wide for 4th. Now Ferranti to the inside of Evans. In the middle of 3 and 4 for 2nd is Logan York, Nate Rogers, Dylan Young, Seth Cole all coming up on the inside line. Sanford maintains the lead for a full lap. You don't see that often on the super speedways. York now up to 2nd place. York has had a really good second half to the year, highlighted by that win at Pukekohe. 14th race of the season. And the 2019 Jerky Pro champion looking to take the lead. He won here back in 2019 in the Truck Series. See Semedo Ozkan at the back of the picture here on the inside line. Same with Jonathan Zoerlein. As Corey Raymond going to make it 3 wide on Seth Cole and Logan York for the race lead. First round of pit stops were taken care of there under that caution. These drivers, I believe, will still have to pit 2 or 3 more times. As they are 4 wide behind them. Nate Rogers, Ferranti, Dylan Young. Richard Johnson in that mix as well. Now Taylor on the bottom of a 4 wide with Freeman, Waters, and Young. As Young will start to fade back now all the way up on that very top line. Saden Davidson in 2nd on that bottom line behind Raymond. Now looking to go to the point as they're going to go 4 wide behind them for 3rd. As they're going to crash. Upside down goes Alexander Rowe. Ryan Brommer was involved as well. And the field still has to race back to the caution. Dylan Young was involved. Laura Chung. Rowe barrel rolling down on the grass. Quinton Moore in it as well. So Dylan Young, another hopeful that was looking to be in range, taken out here early in the going at Pensacola as Zoerlein 2nd in the points, looking to take 2nd place on the track. Corey Raymond will lead him as they take the caution flag. As Charles Sanford gets into Nate Rogers and they wreck after taking the yellow. Nate Rogers involved. Richard Johnson, Andrew Rich, Seth Cole. And that is huge. They were 4 wide coming to the line, and Sanford just got into the 9 to trigger that. And if you're a Zoerlein or a Ozkan fan, this is really big for them, because Nate Rogers came in 24 points back. And now I don't think he'll be done, but he's going to have some damage to deal with for the rest of the race. These guys are trying to go back up and get their positions. This is dangerous. Johnson does it cleanly. Seth Cole, Nate Rogers will do it cleanly. Now they will start to hit the gas here. Andrew Rich, I think, will be done for the race. He looks like he's got a lot of damage. Dylan Young done as well. But second caution out here today on lap number 13. And it looks like maybe some drivers might be electing to stay out. And that's the case. Kev Shearer, Saden Davidson, they're going to stay out. Skylar Taylor, William Brock, Henry Sanford, Colin Cropley going to stay out on track. So not a bad strategy call. It's early in the going. No one can make it from here on one more pit stop anyway. So these drivers know they still got to pit 2 more times. So electing to stay out, maybe hoping for another quick caution. But with Kev Shearer in the lead, let's take a look at the replay. This started with the 37 of Brommer and the 14 of Alexander Rowe. And once again, a title hopeful of Dylan Young this time is just an innocent bystander on the outside, as this wreck is going to just be triggered by minimal contact here, just squeezing. So Brommer goes up in the row. Ferranti almost gets clipped here. All 3 of these drivers go around. You see Rowe instantly flipped over. Look at Priya McShane with a quick move to turn left to miss this. Oh, actually, she got clipped a bit there by Brommer, just a hair. And then Dylan Young, I believe, is going to get clobbered here by Laura Chung. Yeah, here comes Laura. Laura is still kind of going full speed and, slowed down too late. 210-mile-an-hour hit to the front of Dylan Young's car. And that sends him back up the track. Meanwhile, up ahead, Alexander Rowe is going to slide down the banking on his roof. And you can break out the Vince Freeze flip counter. Because here he goes. Right here starts the barrel, then catches the grass. 1, 2, I believe just 3 barrel rolls here. And then if you count the initial flip, you finish that off. It was 4 barrel rolls in total. But not the season Rowe has wanted to have here. And that just continued to amplify here now. Now let's see if I can do this in one clip. Skip to the lap counter here. So Charles Sanford ended up in a 4-wide situation with Nate Rogers and Richard Johnson. And yep, Nate started coming down. And actually, I don't even know if Nate touched Charles Sanford. I think he just turned Richard Johnson there by mistake. And then Seth Cole was right to the outside, had nowhere to go, swings it down, trying to control his car, gets Nate Rogers involved in this. Look at Samantha Ozkan was just behind this too. Ferranti gets a piece of Richard, actually goes down and door slams the 22. Nate up against the outside wall as Seth Cole comes spinning back up the track. And then Ace Rogers, Andrew Rich, nowhere to go. Same for Keith Rich. And that got all of these drivers involved in the melee. Quinton Moore was able to slow down and turn right to avoid causing further calamity. If he had drilled Seth Cole, I think that would have been it for both of them. And that was the second part of the accident. So now we've got a couple onboards. We'll see how much my game crashes here. But we got onboards to take with Dylan Young, Seth Cole, and Nate Rogers. On board with the number 2 of Dylan Young. And here comes Laura Chung. Vicious hit. And that is the end of Dylan Young's championship hopes. On board with Seth Cole. And you see he got front end damage and then swung it left to try to correct it and gets spun, then gets hit by Ace Rogers. We'll see if Seth can continue or not. Appears to be minimal damage, but definitely going to take him out of the pack. Lastly, on board with the number 9 of Nate Rogers. Minimal contact to the outside wall, but then right here, more contact from Andrew Rich. So I think door damage, at the very least for Nate, gonna hurt him aerodynamically. Getting ready to go back racing out of the race. Jesse Turner. Turner was actually parked right before that caution came out. He was 6 seconds off pace from draft times running by himself. So officials decided it wasn't safe to leave him out there. So Turner was parked out of the race from the accident. Dylan Young, Laura Chung, Alexander Rowe, Ryan Brommer. Andrew Rich is showing 1 lap down. He is not on the track, so he is also done. Excuse me, had a bit of the sneezes. So we're getting ready to go back racing with 34 to go. Everyone's got to pit 2 more times. Kev Shearer, Saden Davidson, Skylar Taylor, William Brock, Henry Sanford, Colin Cropley stayed out. These drivers last pit on lap 5. They will need to pit in about 5 to 7 laps if it stays green. Corey Raymond, Archibald Buttersworth, Trey Smith, RJ Bishop, the rest of the top 10 just pit. They will likely not need to pit until lap 30 or so. But so the kicker here is these 6 that stayed out, they can make it to 22, 21, 22, I believe. Maybe not even, maybe 20. Then they can pit around 35, and they should be able to make it to the finish from there. However, that's not accounting for fueling mistakes and the like. Shearer now under attack from Skylar Taylor. He's going to go by with help from fellow Toyota driver William Brock. William Brock has been knocking on the door for that first career win all season long. Could it come today? Davidson peeking to the inside of the 19. Doesn't get a good run. Brock will hold position. Brock comes into this race 18th in the points. He was 13th, but he had a bad going at Homestead. Brock with 4 top 5s and 6 top 10s on the season. Pretty good year. Davidson going to make another move, looking for the lead once again. It's Fitzwater and Zoerlein coming to the front of the field. So now, got to mention, with only 31 cars left on the track, most points you can gain is 38. As Zoerlein is down on the apron. What is Zoerlein doing? Zoerlein is clipping the apron and checking up the whole bottom line. He's back on the track. I'm not sure what that was about. So anyway, 33rd gets you 10 points as Saden's going to make a move for the lead. So 31st, sorry, not 11th. 31st gets you 12 points. So the most you can gain if you win is 38. With that said, Seth Cole, Ace Rogers, and Rob Evans, they are out of it. 38 points gained would put Evans 70 back. So Evans cannot be in range any longer with the cars that have fallen out of this race. As we know, Zach Flickinger is out. He was 99 points back. Dylan Young is out of the race. He came in 77 back. Fitzwater's 87 back. If he gained 38 points, that would put him 49 back. So Fitzwater, he needs to win this thing, and he likely needs Ozkan and Zoerlein to finish down there near the bottom of the running order. So right now you see Zoerlein at the front, Ozkan, though, at the back of the pack. Seth Cole and Ace Rogers both. Remember, they got damage in that wreck coming to the caution. I fear say it is over for Seth Cole, as I believe Ace Rogers has been parked. So that'll take Ace out of it. Now the total drops to 37 points. If Seth Cole gets parked, it would drop to 36. Nate Rogers appears up to speed, but he is losing draft. He's going to get his teammate here, though, of Alex Ferranti. So that'll put them in a draft. But Nate came in 24 back. He needs Ozkan and Zoerlein to not finish as well to minimize the damage. So realistically speaking now, you're looking at Fitzwater with very slim odds. Charles Sanford with still some odds here. Sanford's only got to gain the 13 points. He's got to get a top 5, though, if he wants to tiebreak. If he were to win Atlanta, he could tiebreak potentially on top 5s over Zoerlein. Potentially top 10s as well. Zoerlein only with 7 top 5s to Charles Sanford's 6. But so realistically, it's those 6 drivers we're talking about now. Ozkan, Zoerlein, Nate Rogers, Kev Shearer, Charles Sanford, and Fitzwater. It's Jessica Shelton, the pole sitter, back at the front of the field. We're here on lap 22 now. We have not seen any of those drivers pit from earlier. Fitzwater in a dangerous position there, 4 wide. Same with Priya McShane and Corey Riggs. As actually Davidson has made a jump to pit road. So Davidson the first one down here on lap 23. So he should be able to make it on one more pit stop after this one. Seth Cole going to come in. I'm hearing they're parking the 07. So that'll end his championship bid and reduce the total to 36 points. As I believe more drivers are maybe looking at coming to pit road here. Kev Shearer, I believe, will be. Yep, he's slowing up. So is William Brock. Henry Sanford included. So these 3 pit here, lap 23. Davidson will come out. Now that will leave Colin Cropley and one other driver whom I'm forgetting. We'll need to make a pit stop here. Dennis Moore, currently your race leader. Ricky Freeman Jr., Bradley Ream, the top 3. Ream side by side with Shelton for 3rd right now. As Freeman will make a look on the lead here, but they are catching Davidson. Oh, Freeman's the other one, I believe, that needs to pit. Or is he just stopping behind Davidson here? Cropley's going to pit. Oh, it was Skylar Taylor that needed to pit. How could I forget, right? So the 11 and the 84, they're the last 2 to pit. Kev Shearer, William Brock, Henry Sanford will come out. They will be a lap down. As you see, Trey Smith, Quentin Moore, Logan York, Zoerlein all got really hurt from that checkup. Brock, Henry Sanford will come out right as they're getting lapped. Shearer will be just up the road. Excuse me. Charles Sanford gives a close side draft to his teammate Henry Sanford, younger brother to Charles. So now they'll catch Kev Shearer. So now if you're Kev here, you either want this thing to go green until everyone else is pit, or you want to be the lucky dog. You want to be in the lucky dog position here. Davidson, though, with the draft, is likely going to go right by him. No, he actually checks up. But Shearer still in the midst of a 4 wide. As Dennis Moore and Charles Sanford will pull away. 1-2 for the time being. Skylar Taylor now coming out of pit road. As Bradley Ream just blew up. Bradley Ream blew up, and he's holding up Trey Smith. He's all over the place. Ream was running in the top 10, having a great day. And the engine just blew up on this 88 machine, and that just took Trey Smith right out of the draft. Quentin Moore right out of it, too. Moore's actually going to pit now. Actually got a lot of people pitting here. Lap 26 pretty early, so maybe trying to match those that stayed out under the caution is Raymond, Riggs, Fitzwater, Moore, and Bishop. As Ream pits from a blown motor. As Colin Cropley now will be caught, he will go a lap down. So we got pit stops. Looks like the strategy's really spread out. So we will stay focused here. I was going to take a little commercial break. Try to trim down the video length a little bit, but looks like pit stops are in full swing. Earlier than expected. Yeah, look at this. Stephen Waters going to come in now. Zoerlein, man, he just got in front of Logan York and Priya McShane. Buttersworth coming in too. Here comes Zachary DeLello in hot. Going to take a position away on the entry. Trey Smith might have a chance at getting back in draft. Remember, pit speed here is really hot. 70 miles an hour. Nate Rogers looking to play the long game here in case maybe a caution comes out. As you see Moore, Riggs, Fitzy all coming out. Brock side by side with Charles Sanford trying to get his lap back. Bishop comes out way in front. Here they're going to catch Corey Raymond. Charles Sanford still the leader. Ricky Freeman Jr. next one for position. As no one pits this time by, but you see Rob Evans, Keith Rich, Samet Ozkan, Skylar Taylor have been separated from the draft. As you see Trey Smith, Archibald Buttersworth, Zachary DeLello, they're coming out of pit road. There's McShane, there's York, there's Zoerlein. Stephen Waters first out of their group as Nate Rogers will pit this time by. Bishop and Waters right now looking to be in the best position along with William Brock, Corey Raymond, Henry Sanford, and some others. It looks like more drivers are pitting. I see cars staying high. It's Ricky Freeman Jr., Dennis Moore, Jessica Shelton. They will drop to pit road. Keith Rich and Samet Ozkan will come in this time by. So indeed, Brock, Henry Sanford, Bishop, Raymond, Waters. Top 5 of those that have pit. Charles Sanford right in tow in the lead. Everyone else back here except for Rob Evans has pit. So Evans and Charles Sanford are last two that got to come to pit road here. And I got to assume they're going to come this time by. It'll be 20 laps to go. And indeed is the case. So Charles Sanford, one of the last ones to pit. This will be good towards the end of the race. If it stays green, Sanford will be able to take the least amount of fuel under green flag conditions. Rob Evans at this point likely just trying to find a way to win. It's Ricky Freeman Jr. first out of his group. Shelton, Dennis Moore, Samet Ozkan, Keith Rich in tow. These three are going to come up not in the main pack, but they're going to have draft from this pack at the very least. So let's see, Ricky Freeman Jr. going to be caught here. William Brock will drive by for the provisional lead. Waters looking to at least maybe give him a little draft there down the straightaway as he passes to the inside. And now Henry Sanford, as Freeman drops down in front of him, will lift for the Chevy teammate. As you see Rob Evans coming out of pit road this time around. So Evans, I believe, will file into the second pack potentially if he can get up to speed in time. Meanwhile, Charles Sanford should be in the main pack. So we'll be coming to 19 to go. William Brock, RJ Bishop, they're going to drive by with the lead. Waters checks up a bit, looking to help a fellow Chevy driver. Henry Sanford will look to take his momentum and go low with it. So pit stop cycle complete here under green. It was a long one. And we'll have to see when drivers start to pit again. William Brock continues to lead the way. It's a 6-car pack with Bishop, Raymond, Freeman, Henry Sanford, and Waters in tow. Shelton in 7th, Rob Evans 8th, Logan York 9th. Charles Sanford has been ditched from the lead of this pack and has started to fall backwards. You've got Zoerlein in this pack, as well as Samet Ozkan. Nate Rogers still running in 26th place. As we have yet to see the second cycle begin. Everyone's in the window. Richard Johnson was also parked for minimum speed, so now the points total has dropped further. 15 points if you finish 28th, so 16 points for 27th. Max you can gain is 34. Fitzwater is still in range, but he's got to win and have Ozkan finish in 27th, so he needs something to happen to Ozkan, needs something to happen to Zoerlein. If you're Nate Rogers, if you're Kev Shearer, you got to hope the 5 and the 22 don't finish ahead of you. Shearer currently in, 10th place. As Rob Evans with a daring move on Shelton gets blocked. So you see we got Kev right here in this pack. Same with Zoerlein, same with Sanford, and Samet Ozkan is starting to trail back. Meanwhile, it's all William Brock at the front of the field. Still no signs of anyone coming to pit road. Actually, there's the first one. It's Saden Davidson. He was the first one last time, too. So he will make his final pit stop of the day. The later you pit, the better off you're going to be here on fuel. No one has been able to get a good run on the 19. Is the 19 pitting this time by? I saw Bishop go high thinking he was maybe getting past, but perhaps it was... Yep, it was to let the 19 and the 06 get to pit road, so Brock and Henry Sanford are the next two in. Ozkan has lost touch with the draft. He'll sit in 19th right now. Charles Sanford has lost touch with the draft. This is huge for Jonathan Zoerlein. Remember the week he had last week at Homestead? No pace. Lost the points lead because of it. So now you see Ozkan. I don't know if it was just because Ozkan was at the back of the pack and he just slowly lost touch, or if he's got damage. But bottom line, he lost touch with the draft. Waters and Bishop are going to catch Davidson, who's pitting this time. Just Colin Cropley, it looks like. Ozkan continues to stay out. He'll be caught by this pack here shortly. Remember, Kev Shearer, he was one of those drivers that stayed out under caution. He might want to get to the bottom here soon. Same with Ricky Freeman Jr. You don't want to stretch the gas too long, or you end up a sit and duck here on this racetrack. Coming to 10 laps to go. Remember, the longer you wait, the less fuel you'll have to take. No one pits this time around. Keith Rich, Charles Sanford by themselves. Skylar Taylor will pit as his pack catches the 22. There you see William Brock, Henry Sanford driving by Colin Cropley. As you see, they are way ahead of the pack this time. That's because they did not have to take as much fuel on this final pit stop. Shelton, the race leader, looking for what would be her first win on the year. And the second win of her Cup career. She only has the one Daytona 500 win back in 2020. As Corey Raymond will pit. And Kev Shearer's out of gas, but he doesn't go to pit road. What's going on? He didn't pit, but he's out of fuel. Bishop's in the pit road. What on earth was he thinking there? Oh, man. That's likely going to take Kev out of it. Depending on how many positions behind the 5 and the 22 he finishes, he is likely going to be out of it. Coming to 8 to go. Who's pitting here? York's going to bring in Riggs, Zoerlein, Waters, Fitzwater, McShane. Keith Rich, Charles Sanford, they stay out. Buttersworth, Trey Smith, DeLello come in. Ozkan stays out. Kev Shearer is still limping it back to pit road. If you're Nate Rogers, you love to see this. This could bring out a caution. Raymond drives by. Shearer's still on the apron. Limping it back as everyone's driving by. Oh, what's he doing? He's pulling on the racetrack. He's pulled it back up onto the racetrack. Oh, Charles Sanford, look out. Keith Rich, look out. Oh, he stopped. He almost hit him. Did that bring out a caution? No, we're still green. Did anyone pit this time by? No, no one's pitting. Top 3 are Shelton, Evans, and Dennis Moore. Ricky Freeman Jr. in 4th. Charles Sanford stays out. Sumit Ozkan stays out. Keith Rich is going to pit. Oh, they can't let the 00 stay out here like this. This is a hazard. And he's still insistent on staying in the racing line. That's got to be a caution. Caution is out. They just called it. For Kev Shearer, who's out of gas. Oh, he almost got drilled by Rob Evans. Get off the track, bro. Hearing something might be broke with the steering on this car. I don't think Kev would be the type to do this. Caution is out with 6 to go. And we are going to have a heck of a finish here. Keith Rich just pit. They're allowing him to race back with where his pit stall was, so he will not be a lap down. RJ Bishop, McShane, a lot of cars that we saw pit. Going to be in a really good position here. I believe Ferranti will be the leader. Nate Rogers, though, I believe will be a lap down here. I'm not sure who the free pass car is. Actually, no, they're showing the 9 on the lead lap. It looks like the free pass is the 31. But I think a lot of cars are going to get waves anyway because they have already pit. So that's the caution, and I'll get y'all on the restart. Getting ready to go back racing. It's going to be a 2-lap shootout. Kev Shearer is 27th, 3 laps down. He needs 2 things to happen here. Sumit Ozkan. If Ozkan finishes 10 positions or more on Kev Shearer, that'll take Kev Shearer right out of the championship picture. On top of that, if Zoerlein finishes 18 positions or higher. He could also take Kev Shearer out of it. Now, Kev, though, technically wants to be 58 points within range, so it's technically 9 and 17 because Kev doesn't have any wins on the season, and he wouldn't be able to tiebreak on Zoerlein. So Ozkan sits 15th. Zoerlein sits in 4th. He's in a really good position here coming to 2 to go. If he can keep his car in the top 5, he can take back the points lead potentially on Ozkan and eliminate Kev Shearer. Nate Rogers sits 26th. He came in 24 back. He would need to lose. Let me see. What would the number be? 35 points. And with Kev in 27th, that's not possible. So Nate's going to be in title contention no matter what for Atlanta. He just needs the least amount of points to be lost here. But there's a win on the line. 2 laps to go. We're going to go full screen here. Corey Riggs in the lead. He came close at Daytona. Can he get it today? York, though, with a really good restart, is going to go straight to his inside. Raymond, McShane, Shelton, Ozkan, all to the bottom. Stephen Waters, Jonathan Zoerlein's his teammate. Remember, Waters won all the way back at Auto Club. York drives by Riggs. Now Waters going to the bottom. Zoerlein's going to push his teammate. Will Zoerlein go for the lead himself, though? Yes, he will. Zoerlein to the bottom. Raymond goes to the middle. Brock to the bottom. Fitzwater's still up here. He's in the middle. But Fitzwater, he needs Zoerlein and Ozkan to wreck if he's going to win this race, but I don't think it's going to happen. Zoerlein, the race leader, coming to the white flag. Can Zoerlein enter Atlanta off a win? 4 wide at the start-finish line as Brock and McShane to his inside. Zoerlein clears Brock, but not McShane. McShane on the bottom. Priya McShane looking to win here today in what would be potentially her 2nd career win. But she's going to get challenged by fellow Ford RJ Bishop. Jessica Shelton in the mix. Look at Corey Riggs right back to the inside line. Will it be Bishop versus McShane? McShane with no momentum. Bishop will clear the 41. Can Shelton make a move? Off of turn 4, Daytona 500 winner RJ Bishop is going to get another one. He wins at Pensacola. And you might not think it, as it's only his 2nd career win in the Cup Series. But this is a history-making moment for RJ Bishop, as he becomes just the 3rd driver in series history to be a multi-time super speedway winner. The other 2, Rob Evans with 2 wins and Andrew Rich with 3 wins. So RJ Bishop joining an exclusive list as a multi-time super speedway winner. And that just shows you how much parity happens here at these racetracks. I didn't realize my mic had gone all the way up, so I'm going to turn myself down here. I must have been screaming in y'all's ears. That happens every time I restart my computer. My microphone resets to max volume. So I must have been screaming this whole one. RJ Bishop is your winner. Shelton 2nd, McShane 3rd, Riggs 4th, Zoerlein with a much-needed 5th place finish. Evans 6th, Brock 7th, Moore 8th, Waters 9th, Freeman 10th. With that said, Zoerlein's going to take the points lead back from Samet Ozkan. Fitzwater 13th will not fight for a championship this year. It's been a pretty bad luck year. It's kind of a miracle he was even in the conversation. Charles Sanford 16th will not gain what he needs, especially with Zoerlein finishing ahead. I believe Sanford is going to be out of it as well. So he will get 27 points to Zoerlein's 45. That's an 18-point difference. Yeah, Sanford is out of it as well. Man, Cement Ozkan pit. He pit there at the end. He was short on fuel. So Ozkan finishes 25th. So that's 17 points. Zoerlein will gain 28 on him. So that'll put Zoerlein with a 20-point advantage over Cement Ozkan. 20 points. Nate Rogers finished 22nd. The gap between Nate Rogers and Zoerlein coming in was 16 points. He gains 24 points. That makes it 40 points back for Nate. And Kev Shearer loses 29. And that takes Shearer out of it. So it'll be between Ozkan, Zoerlein, and Nate Rogers. Zoerlein leads 20 points over Cement Ozkan, 40 points over Nate Rogers. And those are the three that will fight for the championship next week at Atlanta. Seth Cole came home 30th today. Ace Rogers 31st. Andrew Rich 32nd. Man, he has not had the season he wanted. Dylan Young 36th. And Zach Flickinger 42nd. That'll do it for me this afternoon. I'm glad I got through this thing with minimal crashes after a couple attempts. Had to turn some objects off and stuff off, but we'll be back to full quality for Atlanta. So one race weekend left on the season. I might have Vince for it. I don't know yet, but it's a possibility. So you might hear the boy, the man, the legend, Vince Freeze next time out for the finale, and we're going to crown some champions at Atlanta Motor Speedway. Peace out, y'all, and I'll see y'all next time.